Ciao e bentornati, welcome back to Pillole d'Italiano. Nell'episodio di oggi, episodio numero 118, parleremo finalmente degli aggettivi italiani e nello specifico della loro posizione all'interno della frase. So today I'm finally going to address the topic of Italian adjectives, which create some confusion, especially when it comes to their placement. In English, everything is easy peasy because you're always placing an adjective before the noun. In Italian, we tend to place them afterwards, but as we will see, and as you probably know if you've been studying Italian for a while, that's not a consistent rule. If you've been following me for a little while, you probably know that I encourage people to acquire the language rather than just studying it, which means that you should go, especially with a topic as vast as this one, with plenty of exceptions. You should go and expose yourself to the language as much as you can so that you will develop eventually the natural feel for what is right in terms of, for example, where to place the adjectives. Of course, there are rules, and if you open a grammar book, you will find pages upon pages of explanations with all the little distinctions and grammatical terminology. I'm here to tell you that I'm going to do you a favor, simplify as much as possible. This episode is not going to be covering everything because I want to keep it in the pill format. And I also want to spare you the headache, which is the reason why I'm mainly going to steer clear of grammatical terminology. So once more, I'll try to keep it short and simplify as much as possible. Before we jump in, take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. If you haven't done it yet, if you're new to the channel, subscribe right now before you forget, before life gets in the way. And then if by the end of this video you really hated it and you didn't get anything out of it, you can always unsubscribe. I will not get offended. All right, talking about these adjectives and their placement. I will be talking about three different scenarios. The scenario number one is the most common one where the adjective is placed after the noun. Scenario number two is when the adjective is placed before. We will see there are a couple of exceptions. And scenario number three is for adjectives that can be placed either before or after. All right, scenario number one, as I said, this is the most common. You are going to probably find 90 to 95% of Italian adjectives that follow this rule. They are placed after the noun. Let's say that you're walking down the street and you see a beautiful car, you want to describe it. You will place these adjectives afterwards. Adjectives such as rossa, una macchina rossa, or sportiva, una macchina sportiva. The adjectives are in the feminine form because macchina è femminile. If you're describing a person and you want to say that they are tall, smart, funny, you would say è un uomo alto, intelligente, simpatico. So all these adjectives will go after. Since I'm talking about a man, uomo, all the adjectives that I used are in the masculine form. Of course, if you're talking about una donna, a woman, or una persona, a person, then you will have to default to feminine. Now, scenario number two, what are those adjectives that always or almost always go before the noun? We have the demonstrative adjectives, if you like grammatical terminology, that's basically like saying this and that. So questo and quello. We have the adjectives molto and tanto, those are synonyms to say a lot. And then we have the possessives, right? My, your, his or hers, etc. These type of adjectives will always go before the noun unless the noun refers to something intimate. A noun such as casa, home, that's an intimate place, right? It's mine. Amico or amica, friend, that's considered like an intimate connection. With these nouns, we'll tend to put the possessive afterwards. So if I'm telling you that tonight we're gonna have dinner at my place, I would say stasera ceniamo a casa mia. Stasera ceniamo a casa mia. At home my. That's the order if you're translating it literally. And if I want to greet some friends that I've not seen in a while and tell them welcome my friends, I will literally say welcome friends my. Benvenute amiche mie. Benvenute amiche mie. I'm defaulting to the feminine here because I'm imagining a group of female friends only, but if there is just one male component in the group, then we go to the masculine. Amici miei. So that would be benvenuti, amici miei. Let's move on to the third group. These are adjectives that can be placed before or after the noun, kind of interchangeably, but sometimes placing them before or after the nouns will actually change the meaning, so you will have to pay attention to these. If you watch any of my episodes about how to say last or next in Italian, you already know these two adjectives, scorso and prossimo. Scorso, last, prossimo, next. These can be placed interchangeably before or after the noun, lo scorso fine settimana or il fine settimana scorso, lunedì prossimo or il prossimo lunedì, up to you. To this same category belong also all the adjectives such as alto, basso, bello, brutto, buono, cattivo, grande, piccolo, nuovo, vecchio e giovane. Come ho accennato all'inizio dell'episodio, questa lista non è completa, so this is not a complete list. I'm giving you the most commonly used adjectives that belong to this category. Now, let me give you a couple of examples to show you how using some of these adjectives before or after the noun in a sentence that might sound and kind of look the same to you actually changes the meaning and why you will have to pay attention. Let's take the adjective alto and the noun dirigente. Dirigente is like a manager. If I say Marco è un alto dirigente, Marco è un alto dirigente. Or Marco è un dirigente alto. Marco è un dirigente alto. I'm saying two different things. In the second scenario, if I put alto after the role that he plays, I'm talking about him being tall. He's a manager and he's tall. He's a tall manager. But if I'm putting alto before dirigente, now I'm talking about the role that he plays in the company, and he's a high manager, so he is higher up in the hierarchy, and maybe he's a short person. By saying alto before dirigente, I'm telling you that he's a manager who is higher up in the hierarchy, and I'm not giving you any information about his physical qualities. But if I say that è un dirigente alto, now you know that he is actually, as a person, he's tall. And now let's take the adjective bello, actually bella, let's use it at the feminine version. If I'm introducing you to my sister, I would say, lei è la mia bella sorella. Lei è la mia bella sorella. I would not say, lei è la mia sorella bella. There is a difference, not really in the translation, but in what I'm hinting to. If I say, lei è la mia sorella bella, I'm implying that I have more than one sister, and that at least one of the other sisters is ugly. That's why with this adjective especially, it's important that you learn how to place it. Another one of these adjectives that will drastically change the meaning of the sentence according to its placement is vecchio. If I say lui è un vecchio amico, lui è un vecchio amico, I'm saying he's an old friend. But if I say lui è un amico vecchio, lui è un amico vecchio, now I'm telling you that this is a friend who is old. So un vecchio amico is not necessarily un amico vecchio, you see? I could have an old friend from childhood who is not old, who is the same age as me. Or I could have a friend who is old, but who is not an old friend. Oof, are you still breathing? You made it till the end of the episode. Now it's your turn. Go and look for adjectives, new or old, and create sentences. Let me see how you use them. And if you know that those adjectives can be used in both scenarios, play with it. Leave your sentences in the comment section below so that I can have a look and give you feedback. And of course, you can use that section to ask me questions. If you need more examples, please let me know. I try to keep this episode as short as possible, but of course, if you're craving more examples, let me know. Don't forget to like this episode and subscribe if you haven't done it yet, and I will see you in a week. Ciao presto!